Hey, good morning, everybody. Today it's beautiful, and I'm back at connecting up the gauges. And I just did this one here, and I'm labeling them as I go. I put temp on this one. These connectors here are supposed to be that you strip the wire, you shove it into this little collar right here, and then you take a heat gun, which I have right here, and you heat that, and this solder is supposed to melt in there and solder the wires together and heat shrink it all in one. But I messed with these before and I never had any luck because that solder just seems to crumble brittle. So what I did is I put the wires, butted them together, kind of slid them into each other, so the other one I would slide it right down these and combine all the little copper wires together. And then I went ahead and soldered it together with regular solder, but made a really clean bead. And then I still stuck this sleeve that's got this heat shrink on it, and that solder, put it on there, got it very hot, it shrunk down, and I took a pair of pliers and kind of squeezed that thing. But I tell you what, it's just not very good quality, whatever that solder is they put in there. But I like the sleeve. I think what I'll do on the next one is I'm going to double heat shrink it. So here's somewhere. Yep, I've got some little strips and stuff of heat shrink here. Some little long ones you can cut off pieces off of too. And I think I'm gonna pre-slide a piece down on there. Put this one on like I just did to that one. And then slide up a regular heat shrink and double heat shrink it, because out here in these salty conditions you want to keep the corrosion out. But that's my temperature gauge one there now. So now I'll move over here. What's next? The next one is the oil. So I'll move over here to the oil next and do it, and let's continue on. And then I'll see if any of these gauges are working, and if not, I'm probably going to know it's the sensor in the back. Of course, I can also check these with a meter here, but they were all working when I took them loose and brought them here. So I just keep on doing that right there and remove the temporary paper tape for labels and put these permanent plastic ones right here that'll be behind the dash. And I'm also rerouting these wires where they had all of this jammed up. Now there's a fuse box right here. They could have easily probably made an access panel where you could access it on the outside, but they made it very difficult, and you got to have this door closed and be in the hot CR, and you had to remove this small door, which I made into a big door, and get a bright light to get back in there to even see the fuses. Crappy. And that means this harness, this part here going to the fuses, has to come down and around and also be slid on that door all the time. So I think I'm gonna unscrew that fuse box from this side, and them running, look at this, they run the wire from the gunnel, the items that it's all going to everywhere, and it's coming over here, and then from the dash and the switches and all, and it's coming down over here. But they all need to be over there. So why didn't C-Ray put the fuse box on this side, which is actually easier to see and better lighting through the access door over here on this side, and the wiring would have been shorter and not in the way of the door. Don't think these engineers are always so smart. They're good at some things and they're horrible at others.
Your Judas.
Well, I'm getting closer to finishing up the wiring in the dash, but I popped the fuse. I was tightening up a nut and arced across the positive and negative there by the ignition switch, and I heard the little fuse go pop. So I'm gonna get in here and do that. So I wanted to show this here, this head, which I got a bunch of stuff stored in here right now, toolbox and an inverter, which is going to go also kind of heavy. This head does not get used. It's a macerator type, and it's got 2 through holes on the bottom of the boat via the 2 lines right there. And to me, it's just a failure point and dangerous. It's weight that we don't need. Melinda and I, we just use a pail, and you know, we're out at sea. You know, it goes out to sea like any sailboat does. It goes out to sea, and you know, we're out at sea too. I mean, I'll stand off the side and do my do right out in the middle of the ocean, you know, a pen. But we just don't use this. And it has like a shower pan. And let me move a couple things here. I want to show you something. All right, so here we go. Excuse the dirty mess in here because it's just a catch-all area. And of course, you got throwable life preserver here. So this has got a little pan where the toilet is, but this is not a showering head. Like, I've had other boats, and you know, they had a 1-piece fiberglass shower head in it. You know, this wall, all of it was all glassed in, maybe a little mini sink over in the corner, things like that. A little wand comes up out of it. You can sit down on the toilet and shower inside the room. This one doesn't have that. And then here in this pan, it doesn't even have a drain. So let's say you want to clean all this up and you want to throw some water in here and clean it up and all, you know, little boys miss and all that. There's nowhere for the water to go. No drain. It was just such a stupid idea. So you've got this little non-slip pad for what? I don't know. Because you're not going to be slipping too much in this little room. And no drain. That is just absurd. You know, a boat that's got nothing but scuppers and belch pumps and everything else, and you don't put a drain, water could have simply went to the belch and then you just pump it out. A lot of times they'll have a front belch right here where I've got this cooler, and it'll have a pump, and then it's catching that shower water and any water that could leak here in the front. But this one didn't have that either. It's kind of like a stripped down version of this boat. But I'm going to remove every darn bit of it. I'm all about lightening this boat up and getting rid of nonsense space. And I'm going to tell you, to me, this is nothing but a nonsense space. It's a very unutilized space. We do not use that toilet. The macerator pump don't work, and we don't want it going. And I'm going to be glassing in those through holes at the bottom of the boat. The cocks on them are bad and sticking, and they're just a failure waiting to happen out there. And of course, I could replace all of it, make it like new, but it's nonsense. We can literally carry a 5-gallon bucket, honestly, with a lid. They got those little toilet lids. We had one back in Texas. Throw a trash bag in it, throw cat litter in it or oil absorbent, and you can use that. Or you could just use the pail and, you know, overboard it goes and flush it out with some water. That works too if you're offshore a ways. Of course, the macerator keeps floating logs from hitting the shore. Anyway, I know it's an odd topic, but every one of us has to deal with it. It's something every person has to deal with. I just want to rid it. I just can't not believe that they didn't even put a drain right there. And that drain could have simply went back into the rear belch and pumped out. I just don't get it. I do not get it. But I'm wanting to lighten up this boat more, and I'll explain a little bit about that. This is kind of made out of thick material. I mean, not too thick. It's about 5/8, kind of dense. All the weight adds up. I've already removed a lot of weight from this boat. And I'll open this real quick. And this whole countertop right here, I want to rid it too. So it had this big thing that was mounted up here before, and it came out on the counter about this far. And it was just a couple big pockets. Didn't have anything in it, just a couple big pockets, no doors. Had a radio mounted in it up here, like, you know, like that radio mounted in it up there. And it was a big old heavy piece too. I took out. I couldn't believe how much that thing weighed. It had to weigh 75 pounds. It was just ridiculous, the overbill. I'll tell you how much this thing weighs too. And it really crowds your space going down back here. It has an out-of-date ice box. I think they stuck it out so far so the ice box would clear the shape of the hull where it starts V'ing up in the front here. All of this space back in here, I'll move this back some. All of this space back in here, and excuse the mess, I'm here working right now. That's all a big hollow void back in there. Absolutely useless. You can see a little bit of it here with this cabinet, but that just reaches a little bit, and they have like a little partition and a big old void. It is just a big old monstrosity sticking out, and I want to rid it too. This is an older boat, and the beauty of an older boat is that you're not going to hurt the value none by making it your own. And I'm going to make it my own, and like I've already been doing, and I'm going to eliminate this here. So I'm still going to have a cabinet, but it's going to be maybe half size of this, with no ice box, and with the sink further back, and that's going to open me up a space going in here. It's really going to knock down the weight. Well, I figured it's a whole lot better to make action than talk about it. So I ripped out the door, the wall, all here to where the head was in this boat, and found that the whole bottom half of the wall down there was compromised, and all that was really holding it was the formica. The wood, as you see it here, is all just dried and crumbled, all dry rotted away. Got the toilet out, I got this pan out, and down to the structure of the boat in here. This here is also rotten, see here, and that's what I want to get in there, find all this and get rid of it. Yeah, get rid of it. Now it's not going to affect this boat structurally because it's an all fiberglass boat. That's just where they put in blocks of wood like support the toilet and things like that. And apparently that has been dry rotted. So I'll remove any of that stuff that's got dry rot. But this is all fiberglass up here, and this is all fiberglass. There is a small little piece of wood that goes across right here like a bulkhead. It needs a true seal bulkhead as far as I'm concerned to section this boat off. So I'll get all that peeled out, get it all cleaned up. But I tell you what, I'm already happy with it already. And I'm going to get this partition wall removed, which it might expose the end of this bench down here. I'll have to see. If it does, I'll cut that piece off that is already cut the shape, just cut it off flat. And I want to leave this open. I want to feel a little, I'm not claustrophobic, but I want to feel a little bit more open around me. Well, I'm over here to the other side now, to the little kitchenette right here. I guess you call it the galley. It's so small on this boat, I don't know how you give it a name. But I start stripping it out. Got this ice box loose here just now. Found an old speaker, one of the originals to the boat. How it got dropped down in there, I don't know, unless somebody dropped it from up and over in there. But it's gonna be nice to get in here and clean all this up. And all this space that was behind this ice box back in here and all, and back here too, that was all a dead void area. It's gonna be nice to have a place in here that's not a big waste like that. I'm really looking forward to yanking the rest of this out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to weigh all this stuff if I can. It's kind of bulky, but I might be able to put my scales down and weigh this stuff and make me a list piece by piece, weighing it, and see if I can get kind of a close measurement of how much I removed out of the boat. So I just got this speaker out from down there, and it's actually just dirty but in really nice condition. Look, all the foam on the edge is good, the cone is good. All it needs is a little wipe down. It's a pretty clean speaker. It is a Panasonic premium marine speaker. I've already put new speakers in this boat all the way through, outside and inside, that sound really good. They're also marine speakers. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna hold on to this. Really don't have another place I want one in here, but I'm definitely gonna hold on to it. It's not bad. And by removing the head on here, it gave me this other brand new light fixture. Still got the plastic on it that I had recently installed, because I had one on each side of the wall. Got one screw in this one up here right now, but now the light's really great in here. It's just amazing how more spacious it feels inside of here. And I bet it's really going to feel that way when I remove this and I build a cabinet that's just sticking out just the depth enough for a little sink over there and a tiny countertop. All right, well, I have got the I guess you'd call it the galley loose here, but I have decided that maybe I don't need to remove it all because it's already built back here to the shape of the boat, right? And over here and everything, it's already built to the shape of the boat. I just want a smaller one, and all of this part here that's sticking out gone. So what I was looking at is that I can just take, with it slid out here right now, and get to the sides to cut it where I couldn't when it was in. But now I can get in here to cut it. I'm just going to go get my jigsaw, and I'm going to measure a line, and I'm going to cut this thing off across here. I do have some tape I could put down that probably would help. So let's judge about how far out. So I'm going to put a sink. Man, this thing's deep. I told y'all it was. It's 38 inches deep from the wall out. Man, that is just deep. I mean, I could go even 20. Alright, it's been a little bit of a challenge. Fun challenge. Got it knocked out. Wasn't the easiest thing in the world, just doing it with a jigsaw. But I didn't care how rough this part came out. So I think it's about ready to come apart. Oh, yep, there it goes right there. I'll make sure I don't get my toe smashed over here. So there's some wiring here. It's one clip. Two clips. And what's weird, there was nothing even that wiring was going to. I think it was wired optional if it had a electric pump sink and maybe a actual real refrigerator. I think might have been wired for that, but there was actually nothing at the end of the plug. So that's interesting. Now I got it out of here. Let's see here. Trying to tripod this. I got it out here now, and the big piece of plywood right here. It's actually plywood, not particle board, and I'm going to pop it out because I'll probably repurpose that. Yeah, I'll probably repurpose that. And there's a lot of wood in behind here too, with a lot of stainless screws, but I can use this in here making a shelf. There was one more piece of it up here that I've already put outside also. So now all of this right here can go out the door.
Me